I cannot believe that I record phone reviews. All right, we're back at it again, y'all. This is Rome Reviews. I'm Rome, and let's get to the review of the Pixel 9 Pro Fold. All right, so welcome back. And this is the Pixel 9 Pro Fold, and those are smudges on the inner screen. All right, we'll get to that in a second. Anyway, let's go to the outer display, and we're going to start by doing a slight introduction. This is my 2 month review of the Pixel 9 Pro Fold, and I've had some time to play with it a bit, and let's wipe it off so you guys can see the screen and not my fingerprints. So yeah, anyway, I've had some time to spend with this phone, and I got something to say about it. Nothing too crazy, but some things. So let's get the specs out of the way for this device. The outer display is 6.3 inches. The inner display is 8 inches. Outer display is OLED and it goes up to 120 hertz. It is HDR. It does not have the variable refresh rate. The LTPO OLED, it doesn't have that. That's on the inner display. The inner display is LTPO OLED. It has a variable refresh rate, which means it can drop down to 1 hertz to save power, and it can negotiate up to 120 hertz for that smooth scrolling that we all do on social media. So we're going to jump over to the back real quick, get these specs out of the way, and I believe I mentioned them again later when I'm doing the actual camera piece of this. But we're going to jump right into it. We have a 48 megapixel main sensor wide. We have a 10.8 megapixel telephoto and a 10.5 megapixel ultra wide. Uh, I'll go into what my gripe is with these cameras in a moment. But anyway, all cameras on this device can record up to 4K. No 8K on this device. Like the Pro variant of this device, the regular slab phones, they can do some. I think it's called 8K upscaling, where you record in 4K on the device and upload it to the cloud. It does its magic, comes back to your device, and it's an 8K video. But this device does not have that. So moving on. Let's actually take this case off so I can talk to you guys about the actual device. So, pop that off. We're going to pop the back off. Hopefully I don't break it, because I do not have another case for this phone. Alright, so, right out the gate, I'm going to talk about the bezels. And I know I've griped a little bit about these in the past, but we got to do it one more time. So, the bezels on this device, as you can see, I have a screen protector on here, and it does protect the screen, but there's a lot of empty space around the screen protector, and it's even more noticeable when I have a case on here. So this case, I have the gaps all around all the screen. Dust collects in there, and it just annoys me. I don't know why they made these bezels so large on this device. I know there are hardware reasons, and Google is just playing catch up right now. Now, this is a solid iteration of this device, especially going from the regular Fold to this device. This is a solid iteration, so I'm not gonna bash it too much. I wish that the bezels weren't so large on this device. And then you have this empty wasted space up here, and then all around the phone. So on top of the bezels, you have even more empty wasted space around on the left side. I don't know. I wish that they had not done that. Like I said, I know it may be hardware reasons on the inside components and how they had to organize everything and how they had to accommodate those components, but hey, that's fine. I won't gripe too much. Otherwise, I love how the device feels in hand, especially without a case. Um, it's it just feels good. The rounded edges around the ends, the flat edges, it feels great in the hand. Um, Jumping over to the inner display, I kind of touched on it earlier. I turned it off for a second. It's a screen, so it's a fingerprint magnet, but there are smudges straight up and down on each side where you could tell that the device. Let's see if we can capture that a little bit. it's kind of hard to see, but there are smudges on each side. You can tell that the screen touches. That's going to be one of my first gripes about the device. Major gripes. The outer display is just aesthetic stuff I was just complaining about. But let's get that back in focus for you guys. I think that should be good. So yeah, that's going to be one of my first gripes, only because it makes me concerned about the screens touching. I've seen people complain about micro scratches on the inside of the screen. I think under the inner screen protector that comes on the device. I think that's what people are complaining about. I haven't noticed it, and I'm choosing those words because it doesn't mean I don't have them. Just means I haven't noticed them. And the other piece of that is, and I kind of covered it briefly in another video with my gripes about Google support, but the inner screen and the screen along the hinge, where people are having issues where when they open their phone one day they're surprised with hearing a crack, and they look at the display and it is done. The pixels are dead on the middle of the screen or around the hinge where it's cracked. As you can tell, I haven't had that issue yet, and I'm glad because I actually love using this device in its open form. And what I tend to do when I cover this device is I do open and close it a lot, just to show you guys that they're not all as fragile. And it sucks that people are having that experience with this device where it's cracking, and then they're having to deal with Google support fighting them and not replacing their device. But that was covered in my Google support video, so I won't linger on that too much. But the inner display is beautiful, and once again, it is LTPO, so it has that variable refresh rate. And this is how I use this device majority of the time. Now I know that outer display is a great size to use the outer display and do what you need to do on it. And I know that is gonna be how most people use this device, but I do not. I pop this bad boy open every chance I get because I love what Google did with this inner display. The bezels are fairly thin and even all around, uniform all around, and I really, really like that. On top of that, this large, bright, beautiful display. Let me turn it all the way up. It's this thing is crazy. I love using this device on the inner screen in its tablet form. Speaking of the tablet form, I will say that I don't feel like Google takes full advantage of this device in the screen. Yes, you can hit it, pop open two apps. The software experience on this device, very smooth, very good. I would love to see them implement pop out windows, being able to utilize a third application on this device. Now I know that is a niche thing. Most people would not use this phone in that manner, but that's not what we buy these foldable phones for. We buy them to have options, to be able to do things that we couldn't typically do on a slab phone. So pack these devices with as many options as you can, and let people decide how they want to use them. I mean, people always come up with things. People are very creative. So give us the option. That's what we're paying for. Yes, we understand that these devices are expensive, and honestly, in my opinion, I don't feel like most of these devices are worth that almost $2,000 price range. But we're paying for them because we want the options, and we like different technology. That's what we're paying for. So just pack them with as much as you can, and you can work out the kinks. I know most people are going to complain when they don't work out of the box. I get it, but we want to have that option. So I've beat that horse dead. So let's move on. So the software experience overall, everything is smooth. I don't know how much I will touch on the AI features on this phone. I do have an example, and I'm going to pop that open real quick, where I took a photo and I wanted to remove the people from it. So I have this photo here that I took today, and these will be popped up in the camera session in a moment. So we'll get to that. So what I did was go to edit. I have these two people here that were going for a nice older couple going for their walk. Let's go to tools, and let's go to Magic Eraser. And let's see if it automatically identifies those two people and see if we could just click on them or if we have to circle or whatever. Let's see how long this takes. Because the Tensor G4 chip is supposed to be built to handle these AI features. So I will say that I feel like the fact that it took that long is, I mean, it's minor, but it did highlight the two people and it did highlight a bush over there for some reason. A tree over there in the distance. I don't know why I did that, but can we not do that? Oh, it erased the person. Okay, so let's move on. Let's go ahead, get rid of them, click done, and see how well it cleans it up. You can tell, let's do this. You zoom in a little bit, and you can tell in the area where the two people were that it did kind of smudge it up a little bit. You can see the line, the separator in the concrete is not filled in for some reason. I wish that it had filled that in. That would have been a nice touch. But if we zoom out, let's zoom out. You won't notice it as much. I was zoomed all the way in, so I mean, I guess it is more noticeable from that aspect. But if you just glance at this picture, you wouldn't notice it as much. So I would give it a 7 out or 8 out of 10 for its execution of removing those people. I think Ultra HDR preview is off, so if I save a copy, does it go back HDR? Not sure. But yeah, just want to demonstrate the Magic Eraser AI feature on this phone. It's solid, but just like many of the others, they all have their issues, so it has a little ways to go. But with that being said, what else did I want to touch on before I jump over to the camera? Let's see. I touched on micro scratches, the hinge, screen cracks, the bezels, security. So facial unlock on this device is okay. When you have great lighting, it works fairly well. Unlock by face. Now I don't have it to where it automatically takes me in the phone because sometimes I just want to unlock my phone so I can see what my notifications are about. But it's fairly smooth. It works. That's the same on the outer and inner displays. Let's see. Unlocked every single time, fairly quickly at that. So what I will say is this works fairly smoothly in good lighting. Anything outside of damn near perfect lighting, you're in trouble. It won't work consistently. Sometimes it'll capture you. And I don't know if it's the dark skin tone or I don't know how well it works with lighter skin tones, but just be aware. All right, so before I touch on battery and battery life, I didn't mention the packaging much at all because you don't get anything. You can see how thin that box is. You get nothing. You get a USB-C cable and a SIM tool and a lie about how they're removing stuff about to protect the environment and all that stuff. Yeah. Anyway, so I didn't touch on that much. So moving on to the battery life. So I will say that even with the smaller battery, I'll pop that up on the screen for you guys, the size of it. Even with the smaller battery, this thing still gets roughly 6 hours of battery life on screen on time. And that's with streamless use. That's with me watching YouTube videos, stalking my stats page and see how many subs I got, going on Threads and Blue Sky and and all that stuff that just trying to keep up with the latest stuff. So with all of that, I still get on average 6 hours of use screen on time, and I make it through the whole day, even with that heavy usage. Now, I will say that I end the day with around 10 to 15%, which isn't amazing, but I mean, I still have power, so I won't complain. Moving on. So what we're going to do now is jump over to the camera session of this review, and I'll take it to me out there at Shelby Farms. All right, so right now I'm in Shelby Farms in Memphis, Tennessee, and I'm using the main sensor on this Pixel 9 Pro Fold. and it is cloudy and it's drizzling right now. So we'll see how the phone holds up. Hopefully this little drizzle won't hurt it. So it should have a decent enough IP rating to get us through this. And I'll pop that up on the screen because I can't think of it right now. But yeah, just walking around, and I just want you guys to see the image stabilization, just moving the camera from side to side, up and down, and just kind of walking naturally. I am holding the camera on a tripod, but it doesn't have any image stabilization on me or phone stabilization on it. So as I'm stepping, you should see it shake a little bit or move around, and yeah, and you can see that the phone is holding up rather well. I'm not intentionally trying to hold the phone still or keep it from moving too much, just letting it do its thing. And yeah, the Pixel 9 Pro Fold, I mean, it's solid, even though I still maintain that these are not pro level specs on this device, and I'm going to stand by that. But you could tell that the cameras and the software working together is still doing really well, even before the final result. Like, I'm looking at the screen right now, and I can tell that it's still looking good. It's still really stabilizing really well. So that's just crazy that it's doing so well. But yeah, I am really impressed with this. And as you can see, this is the lake. I'm not sure if there's a name for the lake, but yeah, really nice out here, really peaceful. I even come out here sometimes just to walk around the trail, just because it's peace and quiet. Throw some headphones in, listen to my music, and jog around. And it's always nice out here. So as you can tell, we are in fall, and you can see leaves are changing colors, and that's where we are right now. So it's really windy out here. I'm not sure how well the mics are holding up in that aspect, but it's really windy out here, and we'll see how well the mics are doing with handling that. So here we are. Next up, we're going to be doing the selfie camera, both inner and outer cameras, and see how those hold up out here. All right, see you guys in a minute. All right, so here we are on the outer selfie camera, and just want to talk a little bit, let you guys hear the mics and see the camera. Let's see how the image stabilization is doing on these. And this camera only has 1x and 1.4 times zoom. And let's take it back a little bit, see how it does. Crops in a little bit. I'm pretty sure it's just it cropping in on that one sensor. It's not actually zooming. So going back out a little bit. Yep. Once again, that's that lake. Let's show the trees for the color. Yep. And that's it for the outer selfie camera. We'll jump to the inner in a second. All right, so here we are, the inner selfie camera. This one is also 1x, goes up to 1.4, and once again, I think that's cropping in on the sensor. That's it. Nothing crazy. So trees, get some color in there, and that is the inner selfie camera. Whoa, it's crazy windy out here. So let's see how those mics are doing.
Artlist.io.
J like the letter, I'm making several waves. I know the mission the same. I made a splash, now all of my passes last like running a race with Usain. I keep it coming like this is buffet. And if I'm stumbling, I'm in the graves. Never gon' fumble it. I get the bag and I run with it, gunning it, gunning it, gunning it, gunning it. Murray with the legs, all about finesse.
Music licensing reimagined.
I don't need a rash coming in with last thing you see the flash. Elohim with the melody and they keep some kind of breath. 70, keep it heavenly, everybody get the bread. I got the bread and I got the juice. I got some dogs and I let them loose. Bring in the storm and this ain't the Zeus. Walk in the skies but this ain't the loop. This ain't the cruise. We ain't the same, you ain't have a clue. I'm in the game and untouchable. Cause I got the flame and this is the proof. Loading my toad, I still want all the smoke. We ain't talking about jokes, we just talking about more. I see all of my goals and it's looking like gold. I ain't asking for hope cause I know that it's show. Now you see me blow.
Alright, so now that the camera piece is done, hopefully you guys got what you needed out of that. If there are any suggestions or anything that you would like for me to cover in the future on the camera session, let me know and I'll work on it, okay? But moving on, let's wrap this up. So, is this device for you? I won't tell you to rush out and buy it, but what I will say is I do recommend it. Despite what you may see on social media or Reddit or whatever, these devices are not super fragile. I'm not super gentle with it. I do pop it open. I do slam it closed. I open it a lot, as you can see throughout my video. And the inner display is crazy. I keep getting distracted by it. It's crazy. But yes, I would recommend this device. And with Black Friday coming up, I'm sure there are going to be some great sales on it. If I see anything between now and the time I edit this and put it all together, I'll pop a link in the description for you guys. But yes, I do recommend this device. Great display on the front, even though it's not LTPO. Great display on the inside, which is LTPO, variable refresh rate. Not the heavy hitting hardware as far as for the cameras. So, but the cameras with the software editing that goes on within this phone, you'll get a solid picture almost every single time, unless there's a crazy amount of motion going on. But you will get a solid picture each time. It is a reliable camera, I'll say that. Security, I wish that they would put the fingerprint readers in the screen, because if you're right-handed, this won't be a problem for you, but I'm left-handed, and I guess I could put a fingerprint inside the phone for one of these other fingers, but I don't typically hold my phone. I typically hold it like this, so I wish they would put a fingerprint reader in the screen so I could unlock my phone, or make the face unlock way, way more reliable than it is. One or the other. But those are my gripes, my minor gripes about it. Overall, great device. Software is amazing. The package is solid, even though I complained about this a little bit at the beginning. Packaging is solid. The hardware is solid. So I do recommend this device. And like I said, there are no major gripes. Now, you will keep in mind that even though I do recommend this device, and most likely your inner screen won't crack, you will have to deal with Google support if it does. And that's part of my concern when I recommend this device, because as long as it's working, it's great. And as long as you have a warranty on it, you may be okay. But Google support is hit or miss, whether they'll actually be helpful. So keep that in mind when you're thinking about purchasing this device particularly. But that's all I have for you guys this time around. Appreciate you guys tuning in once again. I'm Rome, and feel free to like and subscribe, and I appreciate all the support on the channel. Alright, appreciate you hanging out for this long. I'll catch y'all later.
Artlist.io.
Look, back and I'm better than ever. I think I got a vendetta. Oh, now they